Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, that was University of Baltimore School of Law professor Gilda Daniels. I want to thank Gilda for that stirring rendition and also thank her for helping to demonstrate to our guests that the University of Baltimore faculty is talented, versatile, and fearless. And speaking of versatile, let's remember that the words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written here in Baltimore almost exactly 200 years ago by Francis Scott Key, who was himself a lawyer. So that's another way you can use your law degree. Good evening. My name is Ron Weich. I'm the Dean of the University of Baltimore School of Law, and I am honored to welcome you tonight to our new home, the John and Frances Angelos Law Center. There are many distinguished guests who are here to share this joyous occasion with us. And on stage with me, directly to my left, the Chief Judge of the Maryland Court of Appeals, Robert Mack Bell. Associate Justice Elena Kagan of the United States Supreme Court. And Robert Bogomoni, the President of the University of Baltimore. Now, in addition to the two judges who are on stage with me, there were many other federal and state judges here in the audience, and I will not attempt to acknowledge them by name. We thank them all for being here. You honor us with your presence. But I want to make one exception to that no naming judges rule, and therefore I want to offer a warm welcome to Judge Catherine Curran O'Malley, the First Lady of the state of Maryland. Judge O'Malley is a proud graduate of the University of Baltimore, and she's still very involved in our programming, and we thank her for being here and representing the governor. Beyond judges, there are many, many state and federal officials, state's attorneys, other elected officials, many prominent lawyers in the audience, and I will not try to name them all. I do want to recognize just a couple of people. First of all, I want to say a special word about the members of our state legislature who are here, because these people had a special role to play in the construction of this building. The governor proposed funding for the Angelos Law Center, but it was the legislature that delivered on that funding, and I want to recognize Senate President Mike Miller, who is here with us, Senator Brian Frosch, Delegate John Carden, and if there are other members of the legislature here, we thank you very much. Please stand and be recognized. I also want to recognize former United States Senator Paul Sarbanes. I'm very honored that Senator Sarbanes is here. And Chancellor Britt Kerwin of the University System of Maryland is here. We want to thank him for being such a great friend. Now, in a departure from the written program that you have before you, I'm going to invite the three highest-ranking elected officials who are present tonight: Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, Congressman Elijah Cummings, and Attorney General Doug Gansler is here as well. All three of them will be invited to the stage to offer greetings. But before I do that, I want to exercise the prerogative of the dean and offer my thoughts on the meaning of the law school building that we are dedicating tonight. In a speech to the House of Commons in 1943, Winston Churchill observed, "We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us." This new law building is going to shape our law school and our law students for many years to come. First of all, it's going to shape us in practical ways. All of our faculty and the programs of the law school, including our clinics, are going to be housed under one roof. Now that means that we are not only dedicating a law school building tonight, but because our clinics will be in this building, we are dedicating a law office that will serve the people of this community for years to come. The Angelos Law Center has many other practical attributes. It's been designed to encourage interaction and collaboration among faculty, students, and staff. The classrooms feature cutting-edge digital technology that will make learning more compelling and interactive. But this building is going to shape us in many intangible ways as well. Its use of raw construction materials reminds us and will remind our students that legal education must be grounded in the real world of legal practice. The vivid colors and light-filled design will inspire and energize us. Its impeccable energy efficiency will remind us of our fundamental obligation to the planet on which we live and work. So in short, this building is a symbol of the kind of legal education that we strive to provide to our students. Contemporary, practical, and grounded, but also soaring, optimistic, and morally uplifting. Above all, we want the education we provide in this building to be outward-facing and deeply engaged with the world around us. So on behalf of the faculty and staff and students of the University of Baltimore School of Law, I want to say thank you for this gift. Thank you, Governor O'Malley. Thank you, the other Maryland officials, for the vote of confidence in our school and our students. Thank you to Peter Angelos and other generous UB alum who have honored us with their generosity. And I would now like to call on three officials who grace us with their presence tonight. First, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown. Lieutenant Governor Brown is in his second term as Lieutenant Governor. He's worked in partnership with Governor O'Malley on a range of issues, including health care and public safety. In fact, we hosted Lieutenant Governor Brown at a forum on gun violence just before the legislature considered that issue, and he displayed great leadership in addressing that difficult issue. Prior to serving as Lieutenant Governor, Brown represented Prince George's County in the Maryland House of Delegates. He's also a colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves and the nation's highest-ranking elected official to have served a tour of duty in Iraq. Lieutenant Governor Brown.
Thank you very much, Dean. It was only, it seems like yesterday when we were all gathered and broke ground on what was going to now be the most environmentally friendly, sensitive, and efficient building in the city of Baltimore. It's great to be back. I want to thank the Dean. I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for developing the talent and encouraging a real sense of public service among the graduates from the University of Baltimore School of Law with a proud tradition. 1/3 of our judges on the circuit court and the district court, certainly Judge Katie O'Malley is one of them. 1/3 of our state's attorneys hail from the University of Baltimore School of Law, so we thank you for producing such talent, particularly that which is looking to serve the public. I want to thank President Bogomolny. I want to thank you for equipping your students, your graduates, to successfully compete for the jobs that we're creating today and tomorrow, and you make us proud. Thank you very much. Chief Judge Bell, not quite as big a gathering as we saw a few days ago, but let me extend here publicly a personal sense of gratitude for your over 3 decades of service in Maryland's judiciary. We're going to miss you. And I think the governor is going to be really challenged trying to figure out how we're going to fill those shoes. And to Associate Justice Kagan, welcome to Maryland. I want to thank you for accepting that immense responsibility as a member of the highest court, interpreting the Constitution, cases and controversies that arise in our society, our economy, our community. It's a tremendous responsibility, and we thank you for stepping up. Look, I'm excited to be here today. I'm here only because I am representing the Marylanders, led by Governor Martin O'Malley, that made the wise decision to invest nearly $90 million in this extraordinary building. And this is the result of a collaboration, a public-private partnership. And I want to thank Peter Angelos, the Angelos family, for their prodigious philanthropy, not only in the University of Baltimore, but throughout the entire city and the state of Maryland. So it's a real privilege to be here to represent the state. And I say to the faculty, the staff, and the students, make us proud, do great things in this building so we can see extraordinary things coming out of this building and making a difference in our community. Thank you very much.
Lieutenant Governor Brown, and in fact the other elected officials who are going to speak, will need to step out after their remarks, but we very much appreciate them being here. I next want to call to the stage Congressman Elijah Cummings. He represents the 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives, which includes the University of Baltimore. Congressman Cummings has been a good friend of this school for many years, and we're very honored to have him with us tonight.
First of all, good evening to everyone, and to you, Dean Weiss. I want to thank you personally for not only heading up this law school, but the tremendous work you've done in Baltimore and the U.S. Attorney's Office. We had a lot of interactions, and I have nothing but the strongest admiration for you, and I thank you for taking on this task as a part of your journey. Thank you simply for being you. I'm also very pleased to see Justice Kagan. This is a treat for me. I must hear what she has to say, so I'm going to stick around for a while if you don't mind, because I do want to hear it, and and because she is one of my favorite justices. And then we have Chief Judge Bell, and I just reiterate what the Lieutenant Governor just said, if you don't mind, Judge, to shorten my remarks a little bit, but I certainly am glad that you heard me the other night at so you can just ditto that. Amen. You know, the president, I don't want to mess up your name, Bogomoli. But Mr. President, I just want to take a moment, because I don't want this event to go past you. I have watched you, and you have done a phenomenal job. You're my neighbor. You don't live that far from here, so I watch everything that goes on here. And I've been in this neighborhood for 32 years. But I have never seen the movement, the progress that you have brought to this university, the way you have done it. Give him a hand, please. Thank you so much. And so as I end my remarks, let me say I thank the Angelos family too. Ladies and gentlemen, I often say that our young people are the living messages we send to a future we will never see. The question is how will we send them? Will we send them full of confidence and competence, with a zeal for excellence? And one of the ways that we let them know how we feel about them is, while it is our watch, that we create the things that they need so that they can march into that future as strong as they possibly can be. And if this institution serves as no more than that, just these walls, it says to them that we love them, we care about them, and even when we're dancing with the angels, we want to make it clear that we wanted to create a firm foundation by which they might emerge and deliver their gifts to the world. And so, again, I want to thank the University of Baltimore for sending a strong message, a message of competence, a message of excellence, and a message of service. May God bless.
And the third individual I want to call from the audience to offer his thoughts is our Attorney General, Doug Gansler. Doug Gansler has served as Attorney General, our state's chief law enforcement officer, since 2006. Prior to his election, he served for 8 years as the Montgomery County State's Attorney, and before that he was an Assistant United States Attorney. He has also been a leader on public safety issues, and I appreciate that he invited me to participate in a forum on gun violence at the other school, the other law school in Maryland. Attorney General Gansler co-chairs the statewide Human Trafficking Task Force and currently serves as the president of the National Association of Attorneys General. Attorney General Gansler.
Thank you. And when Congressman Cummings and I ran President Obama's campaign in Maryland, I made a pact to myself never to speak after him, and I was like, I thought I was going to get off easy until he started. Then he put his notes away and went into the whole thing, and I was in trouble. But thank you. This is a great honor. This is a particularly great honor to be in front of Justice Kagan. I had one and only one argument in front of the Supreme Court. I'll never do it again. And it was actually Justice Sotomayor's very first case, and my father afterwards said, you know, you did. Yeah, I thought you did okay. You did well, but if they just let you do your speech and stop interrupting, it would have been a lot better. But it was a wonderful experience, and thank you. We're honored to have you here today. And Chief Judge Bell, not enough can be said about your service to the state. And I've been before your court as a party, unfortunately, and as a and argued many cases, and we're going to miss you, and we're certainly going to miss your socks. President B, Elijah Cummings said everything. You've done a great job with the school, and Dean Mazel Tov, and welcome here. So when I think of the University of Baltimore, I think of two things. Two things strike me. One is, as the Attorney General of the state, we are the single biggest employer of University of Baltimore law students. And without exception, the students that are sent to our school, to our office, are phenomenal. They're ethical, they're thoughtful, and they're hardworking. And so we've been very lucky in that regard. And being in the neighborhood and working in the neighborhood, we have so many of your students as interns as well, and we very much appreciate that. But the second thing that comes to my mind, and I come to the University of Baltimore, the old school, quite often to speak on different subjects, is the diversity in the law school. And that, to me, is essential. As we want to continue to enhance the diversity of our lawyers, both socioeconomically and demographically, and that's something that really strikes one as they walk into the University of Baltimore Law School. So hope you don't lose that. And just congratulations on this beautiful building. You know, you can't really work on the insides without having a great outside. So this is going to be a testament to the future of Baltimore and the future of the legal profession in Baltimore. So congratulations on the work you've done. Thank you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate those elected officials being with us. And now I want to turn to the featured speakers who are here with us. And first, President Bob Ogumoni. Chancellor Kirwan, we had a ribbon-cutting ceremony at lunch today, and Chancellor Kirwan decreed that this was the house that Bob built. And I think it's true. It is his baby. I want to tell you that Bob has had 4 extraordinary careers. He graduated from Harvard Law School, was a practicing lawyer, worked at the Justice Department. He then became a law professor and dean at Cleveland State University. Then he was a successful businessman and general counsel of a leading American pharmaceutical company. And for 10 years, he has been president of this institution, where he has had a transformative impact. He has strengthened and grown the academic program, providing increased access to higher education for hundreds of young people in our community. And he's had a real impact on the aesthetic of this place, the physical infrastructure. He opened a contemporary student center, he remodeled the historic liberal arts and policy building, and he brokered private-public partnerships to establish student housing. And then he set his sights on this parcel of land, which was actually a parking lot. and he imagined a dramatic, state-of-the-art, environmentally sustainable law school building, and that dream is now a reality. So please join me in thanking my colleague and friend, Bob Bogomoni.
I certainly thank you all and thank Ron for the kind welcome. I also don't want to be considered one of the speakers. The competition here is just too tough tonight, but I will make a few short remarks. As you will see this evening, the new John and Frances Angelos Law Center is truly a unique building. Any project of this ambition, vision, and magnitude requires the commitment and talents of many people. And I would like to begin by thanking Governor O'Malley for his support for this project from the moment the idea was brought to him. I also want to acknowledge the support of our legislators, the University System of Maryland, and particularly Britt Kerwin, and our generous donors and alumni, and thank the Law School Building Committee and UB's project team for their tireless work. I also want to recognize our lead architect, although we had a great team, including local and lead, but particularly Stefan Bainish for his extraordinary talent and his vision and his collegiality. And then I want to tell you a little story. When I was talking with the governor and saying to him, you know, we need this building. We have a building that no longer serves our students, nor is it of the type that is appropriate for law schools. And he said to me that we can help you if you'll agree to help. And he set a target for us to raise, at that time, $15 million in matching funds to support this law school. And at that point in time, I thought, well, I'm going to say yes. And I thought about the friends and special people that have supported this school in the years. And I want to take a moment to particularly thank the lead donors who helped us raise that $15 million, which matched the money from the state. By the way, we actually raised an additional $5 million in order to ensure that the building would be a platinum building. But without these leadership gifts, we would not have been able to achieve what we needed to in order to make this possible. And there are three particular lead donors I want to recognize: Sarah and Neil Meyerhoff, Whiting Turner, the Willard Hackerman through the Whiting Turner companies, and of course Peter Angelos. Without their commitment and their leadership gifts, this building would not have been achieved. And their generosity, I think, has been appropriately recognized. This is an evening of celebration. And as you get to know this building, you'll understand that I believe we have much to celebrate. The building's transparency, openness, speak to the School of Law connection to our urban community. The center's innovative design reflects our commitment to the changing needs of legal education. And the environmentally sustainable features throughout the facility reflect the moral imperative we have to current and future generations to be responsible stewards of our environment. Yet the most important thing I believe we celebrate this evening relates to what the John and Frances Angelos Law Center makes possible: education. Tonight, we celebrate our collective investment in future generations of students, scholars, and legal practitioners, and our shared belief that education is the heart of the American dream. That belief has always been a part of the University of Baltimore and is at the core of the School of Law's mission. At a time when need for quality education is greater than ever before, and not coincidentally at a time when the gap between the haves and have-nots in our society is wider than ever before, we are increasingly challenged to meet our responsibilities to provide educational opportunities to all, regardless of social class or circumstances of birth. We in Maryland are indeed very fortunate, through the courage of our political leaders, the values of our citizens, and the collective wisdom we share, to recognize the role that education has played in our own lives and what it means to our collective future. This law center will also serve as a highly visible testament to the pursuit of justice, a prominent reminder that the UB School of Law is dedicated to teaching, advancing, and defining what it means to be a just society. That is the work that will make this building a truly special place. This is a challenge and an opportunity for which our distinguished faculty, our motivated students, our dedicated staff, and our accomplished alumni are well prepared to undertake. As you explore the wonderful building, and I encourage you to take advantage of the best views of the city from the 12th floor, I am confident you will feel as I do that our future has been made significantly brighter by the promise we have here tonight. The John and Frances Angelos Law Center will make the dream of generations of students possible. Our collective belief in this dream and our shared commitment to justice for all will infinitely strengthened by this pursuit. Thank you all for your support and for being here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, President Bogomoni. Our next speaker is Chief Judge Robert Bell, and it is entirely fitting that he be here on this occasion. He is a towering figure in the Maryland legal community, from his youthful days as a Dunbar High School leader who helped desegregate public accommodations in Baltimore to his service as Chief Judge of our highest court. He has helped to forge the legal landscape of our state. After graduating from Morgan State College and Harvard Law School and a stint in private practice, Judge Bell was appointed to the District Court for Baltimore City in 1975. Since then, he has served on all 4 levels of the state court system. He's been a member of the Court of Appeals since 1991 and as Chief Judge since 1996. So if you do the math, he's been a judge for more than 38 years. He's a tremendous friend of our school. He's lectured at our school. He participates in panel discussions. He's hired countless UB students as clerks and interns. Twice a year, he administers the oath that enables students in our clinics to practice law under Rule 16, and he always takes the occasion to impress on them the awesome responsibility that lawyers have. Most important, he embodies the values of hard work, fair play, and civic commitment that we seek to impart to our students. Now, consistent with state law, he is obligated to retire as Chief Judge this July 6th, but he has promised me that he will remain a presence at our school, and in retirement he'll have even more time to mentor our students and be a friend to us all. Chief Judge Bell.
Thank you, Dean White. You're most kind, you're most generous, and yes, I will do the best I can after July 6th to live up to the promise that you say I made to you. You know, it's really great to have been asked to come and be here for this important and significant occasion, and to have been asked to participate and say a few words is really very special. As I stand here today on the grounds of this magnificent new building to celebrate its dedication, I am reminded of just how important law schools are. We're dedicating the John and Frances Angelos Law Center. It's named for the parents of one of the most illustrious alums of the University of Baltimore School of Law and one of Maryland's great trial lawyers, Peter Angelos, who just happens also to be the owner of the Baltimore Orioles. It is also an honor and a privilege for me to be here on the program with the Honorable Elena Kagan, the Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court and former dean of my law school alma mater. But the real significance is the importance to the legal profession. The foundation of this democratic republic is the rule of law, the most fragile aspect of our system. Indeed, it is this concept, and really its existence in fact, that separates this society from most others. The rule of law depends for its continued vitality on an independent judiciary, for it is the judiciary, the courts, that is its chief protector. The courts rely for their purpose of performing that responsibility not on prescribed tangible constitutional powers, but on a commodity that is more powerful, although not so predictable, the trust and the confidence of the citizens it serves. Lawyers who constituted 31 of the 55 delegates to the Constitutional Convention, 21 of whom signed the Constitution, and especially trial lawyers, who are criticized perhaps more severely than even judges, have a role to play, indeed an essential one, in protecting the rule of law. It is the lawyer, after all, that posits the issues on which judges who do not and cannot pick cases on which they must rule. They're the ones who present those issues for the judges to decide. They are part of the legal profession, a very special fraternity, a great, venerable, and learned profession, infected with the public interest, and traditionally characterized by a high level of collegiality. The membership of that very special fraternity consists of men and women who, since the birth of this republic, have stood watchful sentry over the lives, the property, the liberty, and freedoms of our people. Yes, lawyers are critical players in giving substance to the rule of law. Lawyers, it has been said, are the flesh and the blood of the law. The cold print of the Constitution traces and prescribes an outline of protection for the rights of our citizens. However, without the lawyer, those constitutionally guaranteed rights would be dry, hollow, and indeed lifeless. Moreover, it is to the lawyer that this country and its citizens have looked, and I submit will continue to look, to ensure that those rights remain secure. Therefore, all of the citizens of this society, not simply lawyers and judges, have a great stake, a very great stake, in the profession of the law. That is reflected in the public attention focused on lawyers. They are subjected to public scrutiny to a degree far more greater than the members of any other profession. Indeed, no profession has a more exacting, a more demanding code of responsibility than the legal profession. And no profession demands more from its members or calls for higher standards of honor and integrity. That stake is also reflected in the nature and caliber of the facilities provided for the teaching of those aspiring to the profession. It is, after all, at law schools that discipline, practice, and theory that should so characterize those who are the protectors of our system of justice and so critical to the perpetuation of the rule of law are infused and hopefully are ingrained into the future lawyers. So as we pause to open and dedicate this magnificent edifice, it is clear that we in Maryland get it. We acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of this law school and its more than 13,000 alumni, their dedication to justice and to, yes, the rule of law. We know that the University of Baltimore School of Law alumni account for more than a third, as you've heard, of Maryland state's attorneys. They account for 30% of Maryland Circuit Court judges and 34% of the District Court judges, and that they have been University of Baltimore School of Law graduates. They have been engaged in every aspect of the profession. In that regard, it is quite fitting that this local celebration of a new law school building coincides with the national celebration of Law Day, whose theme this year is equality for all, a theme that is not unfamiliar to this law school or to its alumni. As the sixth largest public law school in the country, it is also fitting that the University of Baltimore should have a learning facility of the highest caliber for legal education. Beyond the building's exciting and innovative green, environmentally sustainable features and superb architecture, it will be a beacon of light, both literally and figuratively, in the pursuit of justice for the students, faculty, and the community. The new facility provides an updated, modern edifice to continue the University of Baltimore School of Law's long-standing tradition and mission of providing outstanding legal education, community involvement, public interest, and diversity. The newly designed classrooms, stadium-style lecture hall, improved technology, moot courtroom, and study spaces all contribute to an exceptional learning environment. More synergy will be created as all of the law school's faculty, staff, and clinics are finally able to be housed in the same place, putting the collection of great minds here at the University of Baltimore together to ensure even greater access to justice for the individuals and organizations that need it most. Here at the University of Baltimore, law students will continue the tradition of protecting our democracy through rigorous coursework in legal theory and doctrine, and they will have the opportunity to participate in nationally renowned clinics and externships that offer practical, community-based learning in preparation to the practice of law. 9 clinics offer experience in appellate practice, civil advocacy, criminal procedure, disability law, family law, immigrant rights, mediation. Students here also can gain experience through attorney and judicial externships and the Explore program, which place students with nonprofit, government, and public interest organizations. Students here are able to clearly see and experience how the rule of law and our constitutional form of government play an integral role in their lives, and why understanding and appreciating the law ensures that everyone's rights are protected. Through these clinics and programs, hundreds of low-income clients and organizations are helped with their legal needs each year, and the need is critical and growing. For example, in Maryland, nearly 500,000 people are living just below the federal poverty level, and it is estimated that just 22% of the civil legal needs of low-income and poor residents are being met with the assistance of an attorney. In addition, the courts are seeing a large percentage of self-represented litigants who are having trouble successfully navigating the legal system. We also have a significant amount of Maryland residents who are foreign-born and for whom English is a second language. Therefore, it is imperative that we continue to create ways to assist individuals who need help resolving their legal problems through the clinics and programs like those here at the University of Baltimore School of Law. Together, with government, public, and private sector partnerships, we can be strategic in our quest to ensure access to justice for all. Just this year, as a result of the judiciary's collaborative efforts, the state legislature established a task force to study implementing a civil right to counsel in Maryland, which is a landmark initiative for the people of our state. The bottom line is, notwithstanding that commercial I've just given, the education that the University of Baltimore School of Law students will receive here will prepare them for the realities of our changing world and for the practice of law in the future. Congratulations again, Dean Weiss, President Mogamoni, Chancellor Kerwin, faculty, students of the University of Baltimore School of Law. This is indeed a magnificent building. In it, the University of Baltimore John and Francis Angelos School of Law will continue to be that beacon of light, justice, and hope that we've come to expect and from which our citizen and state have so greatly benefited. Thank you so much for having me here.
And last but not least, I'm deeply honored to welcome to Baltimore Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan. Justice Kagan was raised in New York City. She attended Princeton University, Oxford University, and the Harvard Law School. She clerked on the D.C. Circuit and then for Justice Thurgood Marshall on the U.S. Supreme Court. She began her academic career as a professor at the University of Chicago Law School, then served as an associate White House counsel. In 2001, she joined the faculty of Harvard Law School and only 2 years later was appointed as dean. In early 2009, President Obama appointed her as Solicitor General the first and only woman to hold that post. The next year, President Obama nominated her to the Supreme Court to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Justice Stevens, and she was confirmed by the Senate as the 112th Justice of the Supreme Court in the summer of 2010. Justice Kagan and I served together in the Justice Department during the early years of the Obama administration, and she was a warm and supportive colleague. I was so proud when she joined the court, and I'm extremely proud that she has accepted our invitation to be with us today as we open our new law building. Justice Kagan.
Thank you. It's such a delight to be here, Dean White, if I may call you that. President Bogomoni, did I do that right? Yeah? Okay, excellent. You know, this is the first time I've had an occasion to meet you, but it's clear that the President is a visionary. You can tell just by walking around this building and looking at it and seeing what he's done to accomplish it, both in designing and building and conceptualizing the building, but in getting the funding for it, the support for it, the idea for it that brought it all into being in the first place. President, you should be so proud today of what you've accomplished. Chief Judge Bell, that was an inspiring talk you just gave about the importance of the legal profession and of lawyering in our society. And you've been giving inspiring talks for, I don't know, 4 or 5 decades or so. Now, I personally am not a fan of mandatory retirement for judges. But I'm actually especially not a fan just talking with you today and listening to you. And the state of Maryland is losing a great, great public servant who has done so much for justice in this state and in this country. You know, I'm not a dean anymore, so I don't have to thank all the luminaries and public officials and so forth, and I'll leave that to Dean White. But I do want to say hello to my old friend, Senator Sarbanes. It's really great to see you again. You're not off the hook yet, but I'll come back to you. Everything that Chief Judge Bell said about the importance of the legal profession is right, that a society is really only as good as its lawyers, and its lawyers are only as good as its law schools, because law schools are where people get the training, or where people learn ethics, or where people develop the set of commitments that they take on with them throughout their professional lives. And so the quality of our law schools is of great importance to our entire society. And that's why I'm so glad to be here today, because I think that this is a great moment for this law school, but for Maryland and for the country when an event like this happens. Now, I hate to be the skunk at the garden party here, but I'm going to say this is a tough time for law schools, actually. And, you know, if you talk to deans around the country, you'll hear that admissions are going down. You'll hear that there are all kinds of pressures, all kinds of constraints that did not exist before. And some law schools are going to come out harmed, and maybe some law schools won't even make it. But some law schools will come out strengthened by the kinds of pressures that an environment like this, the changes in the legal profession, some of the financial constraints, will force them to make, that those will be challenges that will actually make people dig down and figure out what their real underlying commitments are and how best to meet them, and that they'll come out stronger and better for having been through some tough times. And if I were taking bets around this area, or indeed around the country, if I were taking bets, this law school, the University of Baltimore Law School, is pretty high on my list for one of those law schools that the tough times are going to strengthen, and this law school is going in the coming years to soar. And here we have, I'll give you sort of 2 reasons why this is a really auspicious time for the University of Baltimore Law School. And the first has to do with my friend Dean Weich. What an inspired choice for this law school to have picked Ron Weich as its dean. Not a traditional dean, not somebody who's spent a lot of time being a professor, and maybe some people raise their eyebrows at that. You could not have a better dean than Ron Weich to lead this law school, to think about the challenges that this law school faces, and to figure out how to meet those challenges and how to do better than anybody expects. Ron Weich said, I was a friend from the Department of Justice, and I'm really proud and honored to have Ron as a friend. But I spent a lot of time at the Department of Justice also just not only relishing his and appreciating his friendship, but just being awed by the qualities of his service, the wisdom, the judgment, the just capacity to get things done that Ron brought to the Justice Department every day, and that I know he's bringing to this institution as well. So I think Ron and I have something a little bit in common. We were both just put in jobs which we have absolutely no experience doing. And so when I said maybe some people raised their eyebrows at you, I surely know that some people raised their eyebrows at me. It turns out that having done the job before is maybe not the best qualification for doing the job well. And I'm so confident that Dean Weich is going to lead this law school to ever, ever, ever greater things. And I'm really proud to be here to celebrate his new deanship. And wow, this building. I mean, that's the second reason to feel really optimistic, to feel really great about what this law school is going to be able to accomplish. I'm actually a big believer in buildings. Like some people say, oh, bricks and mortar is really, that doesn't matter. It's really the ideas, Ideas are good, but it turns out that the law schools need great buildings to do great work and to become great communities. And now, I might think this because I made a few choices of my own as dean of Harvard Law School, and one of them was to build a big building. A building that was about this many square feet and cost about this much money. And these are big projects, President. So I built. I started building this building because of how important I thought it was for our law school community and for the education that we provided to our students. So I know a little bit about law school buildings. I went to see a lot of law school buildings, and I thought a lot about law school buildings. And so I came here today, expecting to be very impressed. I am blown away. I think this is amazing. You can clap for that, yeah. But I'm walking around this building, and what I'm really thinking of, I should have done that, I should have gotten one of those. Wow, what an extraordinary place. And I think it's extraordinary in all the ways that it's important. Here's why law school buildings are important, is because buildings actually create community. And community is what makes people have great ideas and what makes people learn. And the great law school buildings are the buildings that bring people together, faculty and students and alumni and people from the community, bring people together in all kinds of new and interesting and exciting ways so that a day or a week in the building is a chance to have 1,000 different encounters with people whom you didn't really plan to have encounters with. And to learn from those people and to talk with those people and to develop ideas and to think about how to do great things. And a building is successful to the extent that it encourages and facilitates those kinds of interactions among people and those kinds of unexpected interactions, so that you're not just seeing the same people over and over again, but different people just sort of clicking in all kinds of new and exciting and unexpected ways. And you can just tell walking around this building that that's what this building is going to do. And that every student who passes through this law school is going to be made a better lawyer because of that, because of all the people that she learned from over 3 years in this place. And all of that, you know, all those learning experiences only happened because of the nature of this physical environment. So when I look around, and so many things, the lightness, the airiness, the transparency, just the way the spaces are interconnected, you can just tell that this is a community that's going to foster so much in the way of great, unexpected interactions, that's going to really promote an exciting and just an exciting learning environment where people want to be there and want to learn from each other. And so what a great building this is, and I congratulate everybody who had any hand in it. You did an amazing job. Now, Ron, I take it you had no hand in this at all. But, you know, that's okay. You're a lucky guy, you know? And you're walking into a great setup here, you know? So, but actually, you know, no, because now the fun starts, but now also the hard part starts. It's taking this vision and it's making it into a daily reality, and it's making sure that this building, you know, lives up to all its potential, and making sure that everybody now sees it as just an extraordinary investment, an investment of the state of Maryland, and an investment in really this state's future, the future of our students, and our students, as they will go out in the world, they become some of the most important people in our society, and so I think this will be known as a great investment, but there are a lot of people, of course, who will have to work hard to make it so. And I know that people will. I mean, as I look out into this audience, one of the great things about being a law school dean is that you have all these different constituencies. Now, this can be a very challenging and occasionally not so great thing about being a law school dean, is that you do have all these, but it's a wonderful thing that you have students. In the end, law schools are all about students. I mean, everything that a law school does ought to be about how you make life better for students, how you make learning better for students, and how you ensure that students come out as good lawyers as they can possibly be. And then the faculty and the staff, the administrators of a law school, I mean, law schools are only as good as those people, how hard they work, how much they invest in their institution. The alumni of a law school, the people who look back on their years here and understand what the law school gave them and remain connected to it and want to give back to it. And for a public law school like this one, of course, all the local and state officials who are really a part of the law school's mission. I mean, all of these groups are sometimes challenging for a dean, but no law school can be great without the commitment and without the investment of all of those groups. And just in my short time here, I've gotten a sense of how invested all of those groups are in the University of Baltimore Law School, and that's another reason why I am really confident that, that this law school on this day, with this new dean, in this extraordinary new building, is destined for absolutely great things. And this is a new beginning that will be very wonderful. So thank you very much for having me here to participate in this wonderful event, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, Justice Kagan. Thank you, Chief Judge Bell. Thank you all for being here, for being part of this program. You know, this audience really is the bench and bar of Maryland. And I can't tell you how much of a connection this law school has to all of you. You're all part of the student experience at the University of Baltimore. You mentor our students, you teach our students, you hire our students. Please hire our students. And that means that this building is not just our home, it's your home as well. We want you all to come back and enjoy this extraordinary building, and I hope you will do that on many, many occasions in the future. Would you permit me, the program has gone on for a while, but if we could have just 2 more minutes, I think it would be nice, having started this ceremony on a musical note, I'd like to ask Professor Daniels to come back and end by offering one more rendition of a patriotic song.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you very much, Gilda. Thank you all. Please enjoy the food and drink that's available throughout the building. We appreciate your being here.